Hey everybody, Kelly Flip with Kelly coming at you. How's everybody doing today? I thought I'd do a summary of these Tim Ferriss's 17 Impossible Questions, how it relates to wholesaling real estate. So, number one, what if I did the opposite of the majority of wholesalers, real estate wholesalers, for 24 hours? So you can figure out what are most wholesalers out there doing, and then what would you prefer to do? Like, are you doing, are you going after probates? Are you going after wholesale? Or are you, putting out sticky notes? Are you cold calling during certain hours? Are you utilizing AI? Are you utilizing government lists, the niche lists? What are you doing? Or you could apply it to your life in general, right? Are you doing your music? Are you doing things that make you happy? So, you know what, if you're an artist or what talent or skill you have, and living that simple life, right? What time of the day do you make your warm calls? Are you, when you're talking to sellers, when you're talking to buyers, when you're talking to the title company, when you're talking to your JV partners, are you asking questions, or are you pitching these people? What markets are you going after? What price points are you going after in your market? How are you filtering? How are you dialing in? What populations of markets are you going after? Are you studying your KPIs, your technicals, your stats? Are you watching YouTube University so that you sound more? You got the knowledge now. And some of that comes with experience also. But are you sounding like an authority on the subject, or are you just sounding like a sales guy? And then. How are you emailing people? Like, are you saying, I totally understand if you're too busy to reply, and thank you for reading this far? Give them a compliment. That's a call to action as well. If you're too busy to reply. So it gets them thinking, oh, maybe I should reply. Do people do the opposite? Subliminally? Who knows? One way to find out. Number two, what do I spend a silly amount of money on when I'm selling my house, or when I'm marketing, or when I'm wholesaling real estate, or day to day? What are your subscriptions? What are you paying for? Are you into health supplements? Are you into exercise? Are you into relationships? The big ones, right? Do you pay your taxes? So when talking to a seller, it's a good idea to discuss our pain, which is, here's the seller's pain points, and this is my pain, or this is why my partner, the bad cop, right? I'm on your side, seller. So if I could do some rehab, if I could help pay for your moving costs, if I could help you out, if I could throw these terms in, if I could pay this amount that that you are asking, would you take that amount? Would you take 60,000? Would you sign today? You can be the good cop. And then, are you doing wholesaling? Are you doing some other type of a service business? What's the recession-proof business? And then, are you handing out your business cards? Are you handing out stickers? Are you putting stickers on, whatever you can stick it to, right? Are you using sticky notes? And then you got, I'm trying to make this out here. So if you do a thank you, on your thank you card or note or email, are you offering 10% off if they give you a positive review? So that could help boost you in the Google. Number 3, letter C. Are you looking at your bank statements? Where do I spend a silly amount of money on? Are you canceling subscriptions that you don't use? How could you apply this to your service to other people? Because if they're spending money on things, how can you provide a service so they're paying you instead of your competition or other people for that same service? What service ads do people buy from? What do you buy from, online or offline? And then, are you doing wholesaling real estate? Are you doing some other service-based business, or is there a product that you can create or sell? All in making money. Number 3, what would I want to have, be, or do if I had $10 million in the bank? You might be surprised that your ideal lifestyle, your livelihood, you might only have to make $5,000 a month. Or what livelihood do you want, and then how much do you got to make a month? That's first thing you want to determine. It might be a lot less than what you think it is. And then once you do have your $5,000 a month or $20,000 a month, however much is going to support that livelihood, that lifestyle of yours, then at that point you might decide, hey, maybe it's not the more money that I need. Maybe at some point it becomes more about your time freedom and or your mobility. Like, do you like to travel? Are you happy with your lifestyle, and maybe you decide now's a good time to take a long overseas trip or a vacation with your friends? Number 4, what are the worst things that could happen? You might have to revert back to your old job or your old business if the wholesaling doesn't take off and it's not consistent the way you want it to be. When you're putting sticky notes out, somebody comes out barking at you, hey, get away from my door. You got your headphones on, you got your earbuds in. If you just don't care. And why don't you care? Because maybe you care more about providing for your family than hurting somebody's feelings. If somebody put a sticky note on your door, would it be the end of the world? You might bark at them, just like in cold calling. They, more often than not, with the type of cold calling, when I do cold calling or warm calling, the seller is usually, they're upset sometimes, but they'll often say something like, well, don't take this personally, because if you can remain in the eye of the hurricane, in the eye of the storm, if you can remain calm, even though they might come at you a little bit, they may respond or react. They might respond. They might give back what you're giving to them. So if you can remain calm, turn the other cheek, and realize some of these sellers are in a very sensitive situation, or their property is in a sensitive situation that could be affecting them, right? So just you got to have the right personality and the right attitude when and the right sensitivity, having that compassion for the seller's situation. Okay, let's see, where was I here? But you still, what's the worst thing that could happen? You're putting sticky notes out, you're cold calling. Still have respect, and don't go to certain places. You don't have to come down to anybody's level. Just maintain the level of professionalism that you need to do. Number 5, if I could only work 2 hours per week in my business, what would I do? So this is the 80-20 rule. Are you calling, texting, and doing direct mail? And what list are you going after? And then if you're going after too many lists, maybe you need to tone that back. What 20% of customers, services, regions produce 80% of the profit? What's the common denominator? That's one of the secrets I've found. Look for the common denominator of that. What can you eliminate? Can you fire high maintenance sellers? Can you automate? Can you put on autopilot 90% of sellers with very simple terms and or a standardized lead process? Can you delegate? What can I delegate in my business today? Deepening and spending more time on calls with motivated, high equity, hot markets, price points of, well, that's more of a filter, and the list that you're going after. So you get on a cold call and you find out, hey, this seller's got some equity, and so you spend more time with that seller because you know that this could be a juicy deal. Number 6, what if I let them make decisions? This would be like if you hire a cold caller or a cold calling service, any helper you may have, make decisions up to $100 or $500 or $1,000, and then if it's a cold, warm, or hot lead, are you having the cold caller focus on their why? Are you interested in selling and why? Okay, and then you can handle the rest from there. You don't have to have them go into condition and all this and that. The why is the most important thing to find out if they're motivated or not, them and or the property. So the questions from call centers, or maybe you've got a fulfillment center, maybe you've got marketing, acquisitions, and dispo. So get the questions, get the feedback from those call centers so you know if there's a challenge that you need to address. And then your response to them might be, from this point forward, please don't contact me with any questions about A, B, or C, and I trust you. And if it involves less than a certain dollar amount, why don't you put this in a document to me, and then I'll review it. And it might start out as you review it once a week, and then you start putting things into a FAQ, and then eventually you never review it again, because at some point they're going to run out of concerns or challenges to put into the FAQ. FAQ is a FAQ, frequently asked questions. And then have them focus on them being a satisfied customer. Number 7, what if I couldn't pitch my service or product directly? In the wholesaling, we're involved with the service. So what if you couldn't do that? So you could go on YouTube, do an interview. You could do a giveaway on YouTube. Real life as it happens video. You could write a book. You could write a blog post. You could do a Facebook ad. What if I created number 8, what if I created my own real world MBA? So this would be, maybe you can offer free contracts. I'm going to do that with this video, not the contract, but like in wholesaling, you could offer purchase and sales agreement. You could you could offer assignment of contract. You could have your own free wholesaling, real estate wholesaling website. You could start a school group. Number 9, do I need to make it back the way I lost it? So what is a loser that you're hanging on to, either mentally or physically in reality, that you can cut fast? What's the second fastest way to cut your second loser, the second fastest? Number 10, what if I could only subtract to solve problems? So this becomes, instead of adding, because more is not always better, right? How can we simplify our business? Can we focus on, why are you selling, Mr. or Mrs. Seller? And then only put those highly motivated leads into your CRM, so you're not clogging up or bottlenecking your CRM with a bunch of chaff. So if you're focusing on a government list, what is that government list that you're focusing on? Is it code violations? Is it pre-foreclosures? What is it? And then are you focusing on only the hot markets? This might be local or virtual or virtual. Can you cut the chaff? What can you cut out that's not making you the top 10 or 20% of what's not in your top 10%? Can you cut it? Maybe there's a list that's difficult to get but not impossible to get, so it's not eating up too much of your time, but it's where the normal wholesaler might just give up with an email. You got to go down to the courthouse and develop a relationship and go through a process, jump through a couple hoops to get that list, and then so you got less people that are have access to that list. And then if you can go to a market that requires a local ID, maybe you could partner up JV with somebody to where they can get the list for you and you can cut them in on half the deal. Number 11, what might I put in place to allow me to go after or to go on an off-grid vacation? So there's people out there that you can find that already have this in place. So I would suggest you find an influencer that knows how to go on vacation and set things somewhat on autopilot. Maybe that means you got to hire a local person to do your marketing, your acquisitions, and/or your dispo. Get that set up to where at least it can run on autopilot idle while you're gone. Start with the minimum, and then if you can do more than that, that's great. And then have your systems in place, and you can look to Michael Gerber for this so that you're working on your business instead of in your business. Number 12, am I hunting antelope or field mice? So what are you going after? Are you going after something big and juicy that can sustain you? Or you're spending all day running around after one little thing that you're just going to starve because you're expending too much energy. When you get a deal, can you widen the spread? So do you have big assignment fees or little ones that are going to starve you out? If you got a decent size assignment fee, are you able to, during the acquisitions, as your inspection period goes on, as you get closer to closing, can you look at that 10K assignment? Can you widen the spread? Meaning, can you reduce the price more with the seller, or can you get your cash buyer to pay you a higher assignment fee? So if you can widen that spread, initially you want to start with a decent assignment fee, and then how can you drown your your potatoes? How can you mash potatoes? How can you drown them in the gravy? So if you're spreading yourself too thin and you're trying to make everybody happy, and the gravy deals, the gravy sellers, the gravy buyers, the gravy title companies, the gravy JV partners, if that suffers and you lose that gravy by trying to do everything, when you lose that gravy, keep the gravy, focus on the priorities, and then the other stuff if you can. And then, let's see, number 15. Nope. Number 13, could it be that everything is fine and complete as is? Can you be a simple man or a simple woman, satisfied with a simple life, content with being happy, wealthy, and wise? So, do you need $1 billion to be happy? Is the true treasures and happiness of life having a simple life? Or is it having $500 million? I mean, you got to get taxed more, and so weigh it out, right? What's it going to take for you to be happy and for you to take care of your family and live a simple life and be happy? There's a lot to be said about that too, having your time freedom, your energy freedom, all that stuff. So number 14, what would this look like if it were easy? So take a look at your business. Are you feeling stretched too thin? Or are you, maybe everything's too complicated? Or are you going to focus on your high income producing activities? The gravy again. And number 15, how can I throw money at this problem to improve the quality of my life, to improve the quality of my business? Are you willing to invest some money into, either machines, office equipment, could be AI, could be something online, could be an assistant or a virtual assistant. If you've got enough money, you can solve pretty much any problem. So in the beginning, you might spend more time than money, but once you hit your stride or your bank account gets to be 5 or 6 figures, then maybe you can spend some money to free up your time. And these type of questions should be asked once a month in a journal rotation. So you got a journal, you're rotating. Here's this question this day or this week or this month or this quarter or this year, and just keep rotating and asking these questions, because you're most likely not going to ask 16 questions a day, but you could rotate them in and out. And then if you get one to be a habit, then perhaps you could come up with a new question. Number 16, can you be steady? Are you being steady? Are you putting one foot in front of the other? That's 95% of the marathon. Can you keep 2 lists handy? One with questions and the other with ideas. And then can you keep everything simple? Because simple sometimes is just more effective than being too complicated. Are you going to keep these lists on a whiteboard? Or is it going to be on paper, or is it going to be electronic? I would choose one area and then keep that where you can review it daily. And then what questions and ideas are you going to come up with? What are your priorities? How you got to do your rotation, journal rotation? And this in and of itself can be a system. So, all right. So what I'm going to do is offer this in a PDF form down below. I know you got the verbal. Maybe you want the written PDF. So comment or contact me through WAP and ask for this PDF, and then I will email it to you. How's that sound? All right, this is Kelly. Share, like, and subscribe. Smash the like button. Subscribe, hit the bell notification, and have yourselves a great day.